Hello, everyone. We are coming into the last two reviews of 2025 before I do my year wrap-up and my top whatever lists. And I wanted to do some cognac because that seems very festive. And in particular, we're going to focus on the Fins Bois today. Or, as I always want to call it when I see it, Fine Boys. Because I am 14 years old. So if you look at a map of the Cognac region, you've kind of got a core of the more prestigious regions. You've got a cluster featuring Grunge and Petit Champagne, and the Borderies kind of in the center, and then radiating out from there, you've got the other regions involved. So you have got the how do I put this? The Fins Bois. I'm sorry, the Fine Boys. We love Fine Boys here on Different Spirits. We also love the the Good Boys, and even the Ordinary Boys. The Fine Boys region is kind of the innermost of the outer rings. It kind of surrounds the more famous regions. It's a little bit fatter, the ring on the top and the east side, and there's kind of a southwest extension that hits the river. But that's basically where it is. And this region is known. I would say it's known for making kind of filler stuff. Like this is what the big houses kind of throw in to, make their kind of younger, more basic bottlings, because it's imagined to be a region that makes fruity, happy style of cognac. I find Fine Boys to be the most cognac-y of the cognac regions, in a certain extent, to the extent that I think of cognac and I immediately see like raisinets, raisins covered in caramel and toffee. That's really a lot of what Fine Boys does. But we're going to see if they can produce some winners. And I really want there to be some winners here because, frankly, I've been looking at some cognac scores of mine. I don't think I've ever gone beyond a 90, which is a little weird and annoying because I've done that with Armagnac. So do I just not like cognac? What's going on? Anyways, I want to get some high scores here. So let's run through these. We are clearing out our Fine Boy stash. Starting out with a Grosperrin. One of the leading kind of negociant bottles in the region. This is a 2010, and it is all Folle Blanche, which is extremely unusual in cognac. It is the original cognac grape, but these days, almost everyone has moved on to ugni blanc. Folle Blanche is more common in other regions than this, but this is one they've sourced from the town of Herpes, Herpes, I guess. It's all Fins Bois. It's organic and bottled circa 2022, so 11 or 12 years old. 46.8% alcohol by volume. I'm really, really curious to see what Folle Blanche does in cognac. And it's kind of what I was hoping for. It's very, very floral. You were getting wildflowers. You're getting some roses, some peonies, some blossoms, some little daffodils. But it is also very clearly Fine Boys. You are getting the raisins. You are getting your caramel, your toffee, a little bit of fig, dried fig, but also some fresh fig. It's a light nose, but it's a delightful nose. A little bit of, what is that? It's cinnamon adjacent, but it's not really cinnamon. It's like honestly, it smells like a cream soda. Yeah, like a raisiny floral cream soda, and I'm into it. A little bit of a, what is that? Just lightly woody, like very subtly woody, like a little bit of, you just open up a cigar box for a second, just a little bit of that. Just really light, pleasant. I mean, it smells young, but that's okay. It is young. On the palate, I could pound this all day. This is delicious. Kind of acts like it does in the nose, except there's a much more serious tannic grip on the back end of this than was implied by the nose. All flowers, all kinds, blossoms, daffodils, some roses, peonies, wildflowers. Raisins and caramel, figs, a little prune, a little touch of something stone fruity, maybe some apricot. But yeah, on the back end, you get some really intense, kind of strongly brewed cafe drink, maybe a cortado or something, and just a strong old hit of English breakfast tea. It's not, super duper complicated. This one is not making it up into the 90s, no chance. But damn if it is not just a delight to drink. And this is one I would pour for guests who are, maybe whiskey maniacs who are looking to explore elsewhere, who are brandy curious, if you like. I like this. Let's give it some water. Move on. All right, class number 2. We're immediately getting much older. This is a 1975 Godet. 43 years old. This was bottled. So this was actually transferred to a demijohn for a while. It was finally bottled in September 2024. All ugni blanc. 47.2% alcohol. 43 years of age. Much, much woodier. I mean, in a good way. I mean, this smells like... this smells like you opened up the cigar box all the way, and there was a whole bunch of... Like, no Maduros in there. Nothing like that. We're talking natural leaf stuff and maybe a couple of candelas thrown in there. The green cigars. There's a little bit of a green note in here. And then you took that cigar box full of the cigars and you put it on top of a pile of chopped up furniture. That was also like kind of musty. Yeah, that's what this smells like. Very little fruit on this. There might be like a prune kind of holding up the fruit end, but beyond that, it's all cigars, wood, Irish breakfast tea. That musty note, which is kind of fun. And actually, you know what? A little bit of like a root beer thing. Yeah, just kind of hanging out in the back there. A little root beer and cinnamon. But yeah, this is, if you are one of those people who goes to cognac for the fruit, this one's especially like you go to Fine Boys for the fruit. Nope, not this one. On the palate. Much more serious. I mean, Honestly, in terms of how this behaves on the palate, there's not much difference between this and the Grosperrin for the first like second and a half. The difference is the Grosperrin kind of, even the structural elements kind of fade reasonably quickly. That's not a bad thing. This is crushable. This one, stuff just sticks around for way, way, way longer. I am still tasting this. A lot of it is the tannins on the back end. But a lot of it is still the florals and that little prune in there just kind of hanging and chilling in the middle of this mass of wood and tannins. Cigars, cigar boxes, but like non-maduros, like mellower, greener cigars, that end of things. Some flowers on this too, though. Not as much as on the Grosperrin, but a fair amount of like, chewing on blossoms and wildflowers happening. Just strong ass brewed black tea. Wood, chopped up furniture, musty attic. And yeah, I mean, it's got a finish that just will not quit. The only problem with it is it's not. I mean, if you like your kind of old school austere bourbons, if you were a fan of, Elijah Craig 12, or even the 18, God help you, back in the day, you will probably like this profile because it's woody and austere. I find myself wanting a little bit more happiness here. I want it to be a little bit more like the Folle Blanche, even though I think on points this is a better cognac. We're gonna add some water. I just want throw me some fruit, man. Throw me a little something. Oh, there's just like a little hint of orange peel in there. It's still really austere though. Okay. Glass 3. Oh, we're getting younger again. This is a Vallein Tercinier, lot 96, and this is cask number 134, 48.7% ABV. 435 bottles of this, so you should be able to find it. And yeah, it is all Fins Bois, Fine Boys. Let's see what we got. More reserved on the nose. I like kind of a spice cabinet kind of thing. Yeah, we're really heavy on someone was making a coffee cake and they got a little crazy. So there's cinnamon, but there's also like some nutmeg, cardamom, a lot of black pepper. Just coffee stuff, really, cold brew. Let's go with that. A little bit of caramel on this. More chopped up furniture, but it's not musty this time. This is kind of well kept chopped up furniture. But yeah, we're really dominant on the spice cabinet end of things, like just holiday spices. Not a ton of fruit on this. There's maybe like one fig to join the one prune from before. Maybe like 2 raisins in there as well. So pretty austere, but otherwise I feel like we're getting into the holiday spirit with this. Okay. Again, much more austere than I expect from this region. On the palate. Ooh. But on the palate, much more classic Fins Bois for me, with the spicy elements integrated. So we are heavy, heavy, heavy on caramel covered raisins. There's some peach, prunes, figs, tons of dried fruit. But then you've got all of that covered in cinnamon, black pepper, black tea, allspice, cardamom. That black tea was very, very overstewed. This is massively tannic on the back end, but I'm kind of enjoying it. It's even a little bit has like a chili spice thing. Someone might have stuck a jalapeno or two into this. I like you. So yeah, on the palate, we're playing a very good balancing game between the spicy aggression that I was getting on the nose and the decadent dried fruit and caramel thing that I tend to expect from this region. This is good. This is really good. I like all of these so far, but like the trend is clearly up. And we haven't even gotten to the one I am, in some respects, most excited about. Look at this, like 3 more drops. Which is glass number 4 here. What is this? I think you can still get this. I have to double check. Le Temps Retrouvé, Cognac Fins Bois. Lot number 46, picked by Passion for Whisky. This is a Fins Bois cognac, Fine Boys cognac that was bottled or distilled in 1946 and spent most of that time in oak. So and managed to come out of that somehow still at a cask strength of 49.5%. I think I have tried older spirits in this, and at least thing distilled before this. But in terms of time in oak, I think this is the champion. I think this is the oldest thing I've ever tasted on channel. I mean, this is pushing 80 years old. So, and it wasn't even that expensive. So if so there has to be something wrong with it. I'm a little scared, honestly. Ugni blanc and a little bit of colombard, as I recall. Yes. Quite tight on the nose. I mean, it smells very, very musty. Like, this smells like I just walked into an ancient cellar that's with water and dank wood everywhere. I mean, yeah, must, like old tobacco, tobacco that's so old it's kind of lost its identity as like a burley or a Virginia. It just smells like old tobacco. What is that? There's a little bit of like a mashed prune thing in this, maybe? Some kind of very subtle mashed dried fruit thing. Like old tea leaves, black tea leaves. That are like a little soggy. All this sounds gross, I know, but it's nice. Black pepper. I mean, it's old, and it smells old. This is very much on the tertiary end of things. A couple of clumps of mud and old grass and flowers thrown in there as well. Okay, I'm a little scared. Let's see what we got on the palate. that's quite actually very beautiful. Oh, I like you. I like you, little cognac. So first of all, I am not getting a mouthful of tannins, which was what I was kind of worried about. I am just getting a mouthful of some lovely tertiary notes. Again, it smells like I just, inhaled a damp, dank old cellar, along with some mud and some flowers and some, damp tea leaves and stuff. But the fruit has kind of played itself up a little bit. It's there in the nose, but it's much more present on the palate. It's just a mash of raisins and prunes and figs. There's almost like a fig butter thing to this. This is fun. Very, we're very heavy on the black pepper side of things too, but it's not as spicy as the 96 here. I mean, in some ways, the youngest thing here and the oldest thing here, what they have in common is they're both very crushable. This is just like polishing my mouth with like dank rocks and damp old cellar wood, and I'm enjoying it. A little bit of like a burned lemon peel thing. This is fun. I'm gonna add some water to this. We'll come back to it. We are just an ascending scale of quality here. I don't want to give this too much water. 1, 2, 3. And last up. This has been sitting in my cognac box forever. And I'm delighted to finally try it. This is a Bourgoin. 22-year-old from 1994. It's a Brut de Fut, so cask strength. Fins Bois. Bottled around 2019, but you could probably still find this. They did not sell very quickly. 55.3% alcohol on this. It's pretty darn strong. Let's see what we got. Oh, okay. The most aggressively fruity thing here, by miles. Oh yeah, not even subtle about it. We are on peach and nectarine and a little bit of pineapple, some guava, some tamarind. Very, very fruity. White pepper, little cinnamon cardamom. Quite floral too. We're not at the same level of flowers as the Folle Blanche back here, but very heavy on the flowers. There's some blossoms, orange blossoms, just wildflowers, almost like a little potpourri thing, and some orange peel and a little lime peel. Nice. Okay. And a little bit of a just a grapey thing, like a Moscato kind of character. I love Moscato. You should love Moscato too. Yeah, I'm looking for woody elements. Not really. This is not about the wood. This is all about fruit and freshness and florals. There's a little white pepper in there. Maybe some a little tea, a little oolong kind of snuck in the back, but really forward on the character of the distillate here. Let's see what we got on the palate. Ooh. Very close to the distillate. Wow. And pretty much kind of behaves like the nose would tell you it would be. Really heavy on the fruit, pineapple, orange peel, guava, nectarine, peach, grapey Moscato, florals, white pepper. Ooh, it's like what is that? It's almost like a pop rocks element to this, which is fun. That kind of oolong kind of tea kind of thing, holding up the back end. It's like a, wood-aged eau de vie from cognac, rather than like what you would normally think of as a cognac. And I'm into that. I'm enjoying it. There's the white pepper kind of gets interesting on the back end of this. But really not a whole lot of like woody, grippy stuff. A little bit of that tea stuff thing kind of happening, but that's it. Competing with the Folle Blanche for the freshest kind of thing here, but at the same time, this is more cerebral. I have to think about this, whereas I could just crush the Grosperrin. Interesting. I'll give this some water. 1 squirt, 2 squirts, 3 squirts. It's probably going to need 4. I'll go 4. 4 squirts. And let us go back through these one more time. Yeah, fun lineup. I like these, and most of them are just not fitting the stereotype I've built in my head of what fine boys should taste like. Some of them are bringing the raisins and the caramel, but there's a lot more going on here. So I'm delighted. I am delighted. Let's taste through these one more time. Back to the Grosperrin, 2010, all Folle Blanche. This is lot number 802. If you're curious, on the nose. In some ways, the flowers have settled down. This has become much more of a conventional Fins Bois. So that is to say, raisins and caramel with a halo of flowers kind of around it. No, there's a little more to it. There's some interesting bits. There's a little bit of like a citrus zest kind of thing going on. Like a little bit of bergamot happening. Little peach and pineapple coming into this as well. Okay, on the palate. Session brandy. I mean, really fabulous session brandy. Ooh, okay. So the finish kind of kicked up on this. I was complaining that a little bit that the finish on this was not as serious as the one on the Godet. But now we have kicked things up. I mean, a very cognac-y cognac in lots of ways. It's a little bit more floral. Gets a little bit more interesting on the side of kind of side notes. Aromatic cinnamon, the bergamot, a little bit of orange peel. But overall, really good. Grippy, serious, especially after you add water. I'm going to give this a good score. Not an amazing score, but I'm going to call this an 86 plus. I like this a lot. And it's very crushable. which is not to be overlooked. 86 plus. Let's see what the Godet has got. This was the more austere one, right? Still very austere on the nose. But it does feel like that one prune in there has maybe made a friend or two. There's like 2 or 3 more prunes, maybe a fig thrown in as well. A couple of flowers. Yeah, overall on the nose it feels friendlier than it was. We're still very dominated by the cigar box and the kind of slightly musty wood chopped up furniture thing. And some strong cafe drinks on the palate. Jesus. Yeah, this thing, okay. I had doubts for a second, but on a second sip, this thing still maintains its big selling point, which is just the longest finish of anything in this lineup here. I am still tasting this. It feels like if I walked over to the other end of the condo and then walked back, I would still be tasting it when I sat down again. This has an enormously long finish. And what's more impressive is it isn't just the tannins, although believe me, that it is the tannins. We have got overstewed tea and chewing on, musty old chopped up French furniture at the same time, and it's really intense and aggressive, and some coffee grinds in there as well. But the other stuff kind of sticks around as well. You've got some very nice floral elements, and they just kind of carry through on the finish as well. The little bit of fruit carries through on the finish as well, but that's kind of the problem. There's just not a lot of fruit to this. It's in there. There's a little bit of, there's like your little tiny friendship gang of prunes with the fig thrown in. But that's about it. That is all the fruit you were getting on this. So it's got power. It's got a very impressive mouth presence. But I just want a little bit more balance. I want a little bit more balance to this, and I could score it higher. I'm still going to score it pretty high, though. Oh, this is tricky. It does have the complexity. It just doesn't... I want it to be kind of a little bit better sorted. I'm stuck between like an 87 and an 88, so I'm going to call this an 87 plus, and just it's a little bit of a cheat, but let's go with it. 87 plus, very fun, not at all what I expect from the region. Just a little bit of a bruising powerhouse. Okay, on to the Vallein Tercinier. Spicy boy. Not really a whole lot of change from the nose from before. It really smells like a spice cabinet exploded in the best possible way. With some flowers and then, maybe some dried fruit clearing out the back end. Really intense, just spice cake stuff on the palate. Yeah, I mean, kind of behaves the same as it was before. It's a mix. It's a balance between Spice Cabinet Exploded, cinnamon, black pepper, cardamom, clove, allspice, everything, meets your kind of standard issue raisins and caramel kind of thing. A little bit of like a musty coffee grinds thing as well. Yeah, in some ways, stylistically, kind of halfway in between these first two here. So score-wise, I'm going to put it about halfway in between those first two. I'm going to call this an 87 flat. Actually, let me try the Grosperrin one more time. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. The VT, about halfway in between these two. 87 points. All right, moving on to the Old Boy. Lot 46. The oldest thing in terms of wood time I have ever reviewed on the channel. We are still on, like, just damp, waterlogged old cellar. I don't know what to tell you. Just damp, woody stuff. In the best possible way. With a couple of dried fruit thrown in that have been mashed up and maybe just left to rot there a little bit. In a good way. Flowers, mud. It's a fun nose. It's a delightful nose. I wish you could come nose this with me. Because it's not, a high flying, amazing, crazy, Mar nose or high ester Jamaican nose. And that's not what this is. This is just really, really, really old spirit. But that's fun in its own way, on the palate. I mean, it steals your heart. It really does just steal your heart, this. Because first of all, it's delicious. Like, this is, again, a little bit like the Grosperrin. It's very, very crushable. Despite the fact that what you're drinking is basically dank cellar with some flowers and mud kind of thrown in and maybe a touch of fruit. You don't even notice. You're just throwing this back. Really delicious. It's one of those spirits that begs me to take another sip of it. In terms of absolute quality, I don't think we're that high up there. We're in the high 80s somewhere. Hold on. Are we beating the Godet? Hold on. I think we're beating Godet. It doesn't have the crazy, insane finish that the Godet has. But it's not that far away, and I think it has better balance, even though that balance is dank cellar. $88 points. This is an 88-point spirit. And delicious and well worth a grab if you see it, just because you're drinking a spirit that was, distilled almost 80 years ago. So, yeah. Delightful 88 points. But here's the wild card. I'm really curious to see what water does to this. Because it could bring out the wood, it could bring out the tannins. I don't know. Bourgoin, 1994. Nope, it's exactly the same. It's a big old explosion of tropical fruit and flowers. Some Mirabelle plum now, but pretty much exactly the same. And I'm not mad. This is the fruitiest thing here. So if you're a fruit maniac, if that's what you come to cognac for, here you go. On the palate. Ironically, because this is the strongest thing here in terms of ABV, doesn't have the power or the presence of some of these others. But still like a really impressive cognac. Just a big old mouthful of tropical fruit. And, like good Northern Italian Moscato. Getting a little bit more of a spicy thing on this. There's a little bit of like a Sichuan numbing peppercorn thing here, which I'm enjoying. That's kind of new. That wasn't really there before. I think this is good. I think this is... Let me try the VT one more time. Yeah, in terms of quality, I think this is right on the same level as the VT. So I'm going to call this an 87 pointer. But, I mean, a fun contrast, though, because the VT is in the Vallein Tercinier is in some ways a much more traditional, old spirit. Presents very, very, woody and spicy and balanced off with a little bit of fruit, whereas the Bourgoin here really presents like, a cognac eau de vie that they just happen to have in oak for a couple of years. Still, very, 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 very fun lineup. We did not get any 90s today, but this was some fun. I'm not even mad about that. So, let's run back through these. Yeah, the Grosperrin. Really just delicious stuff. I think I liked it. Maybe, hold on. You lose a little bit of the florals when you add water, but you do get a much more impressive mouth presence. Just a really good crushable cognac and kind of doing its own thing. I like this. Then you got these two tied. The Vallein 96 and the Bourgoin 94. Both 87 points. Very, very different. I just talked about those. Then what do we got? We have got the Godet 1975. Very austere. Borderline has balance problems. Just not a ton of fruit or happy things going on, but man, is the mouth presence impressive. 87 points, because I can't quite find an 88 there. And your winner is this lot 46 from the Passion for Whiskey folks. Just like it makes me happy to drink it because it's very, very delicious, despite the fact that the tasting notes probably don't sound that appetizing. And it is a fun story behind it. So 88 points. You know what? I'm going to amend this. 88 heart emoji. Heart emoji for this circa 80-year-old cognac. And that is the video. Thanks for watching and cheers.